What's going on, everyone? Jake here again, bringing you another exciting video. As you can see, I have a very large box in front of me, and you'll already know by the title of the video what this is, but I'm going to go ahead and open it up for you anyway. In this box is a Nintendo R.O.B. It's actually the bundle, the console R.O.B., you know, the bundle that they had released. In 1985 is when they released it. But anyways, that's what we've got. Let's go ahead and check it out.
What's it like to play the Nintendo Entertainment System? Nintendo Entertainment System. Now you're playing with power.
Okay, hopefully you enjoyed that little commercial there. But let's go ahead and get into this thing. Say the R.O.B. was released with the Nintendo Entertainment System in 1985. Nintendo at the time had Famicom in Japan. Had done really well. But that was around 1983 area, and also at that time there was a video game, you know, I don't know what you want to call it, but people weren't really interested in video games anymore, as computers, PCs were starting to come out. And they're like, well, you know, we can play games on this, so what do we need we don't need a console just for games. And also at the time, Atari was, you know, the biggest, most successful video game company in the world. So they were competing with them in the U.S. So anyway, Nintendo wanted to bring the Famicom to the U.S. and no one was really interested in it. Nobody wanted to take it and sell it in their stores or, you know, anything like that. So they attempted to make a deal with Atari that they would, you know, produce or make and provide the merchandise, and Atari would sell it in the States. Well, Atari didn't like that idea because Atari would be doing all the work, and Nintendo would just, you know, be basking in the glory. So that deal did not go through, and also because Atari was coming out with the 7800, which they thought was a way better system than the Famicom. So that didn't happen. So Nintendo continued, you know, had to still find something else to do. So they decided, since no one was interested in the Famicom, they decided to make a whole new console. And they actually made a console that was supposed to be like a game, computer, all-in-one type deal, which they released at a show, and some people had showed some interest in it, but not very much, because after that show, they didn't receive a single order for this system. So, they were still trying to figure out what to do. So they went back to the drawing board and came up with the NES, the Nintendo Entertainment System. And they called it the Entertainment System because they did not want it to be called a video game, because they thought, you know, that it would keep people away from it, because people didn't want video games anymore. And also, with that, you know, because robots at the time were pretty popular, the Transformers were out and all that, so they'd come up with the R.O.B. Robot. And people still were not very excited about it at all, because they're like, well, you know, it's just a robot, it's loud, it's slow, you know, pretty boring, not very exciting. So, R.O.B. was not doing very well. But Nintendo, you know, they still wanted to try. So they went ahead and put together some systems, and they said, well, where should we sell this at? And decided, well, New York City would be the best city to start it with, because New York City was the largest state in the USA. And But still, even then, people weren't very interested in it. Like, stores did not want to sell this thing because they thought it was a video game system. No one was going to be interested in it. So Nintendo told them that they would go in and do all the work. They would have all of the inventory shipped, and they would stock and set up their own booths and everything, and do all the work for them. And they said, whatever systems sell, pay us for those, and then just ship us back whatever didn't sell. And they did that. So they went ahead and over a couple nights set up all these booths at 500 stores in New York City to unveil this R.O.B robot. And got this undone here. So here we go. Let me see. Right way. I'm gonna go ahead and do it this way. There we go. Box is pretty dirty. I'm sure it's been in storage with somebody. But just this box alone is, they're very hard to find. They're worth because it's a box. Everyone threw them away. Like, oh, we don't need a cardboard box. So of course they're hard to find. But here it is. There's a sticker on it. I'm gonna try and carefully peel off of there later. But yeah, so that's what it is. Turn it around here. See everything in there. I'll get some close-ups here in a minute too. Yeah, so this thing, another part of the, this paper. I'm gonna say, they didn't want, because people weren't interested in video games at the time. So when they made this box, of course they put entertainment system, nothing to do with video games, and then they also wanted nothing on the box to say video game. So the games on here they called them game packs. Nowhere on here does it say video game. It says game, but not video game. So, like I say, you've got R.O.B right on the cover. You got a picture of him and everything that comes with. It came with the Zapper, the console, 2 controllers, and then it came with Duck Hunt and Gyromite. Now there was only 2 games at the time for R.O.B that they came out with. They were supposed to have made 4 more, but they never did. So R.O.B came with Gyromite, which came with this, and then they also later sold R.O.B just by himself, not in a bundle. He sold for about $50, and but anyways, so it was just R.O.B and Gyromite. So then there was another game that was first released when they released the Nintendo, which at the time they only released, I think, 17 games. But one of the other games was for R.O.B, which was called Stack Up. And those were the only 2 games ever made for R.O.B. So if you have a R.O.B, expect to only be playing Gyromite and Stack Up, because those are the only games that were ever made to be used with him. But anyways, it is what it is. So let's go ahead and get in here. Well, actually, first let me show you a close-up of the box. Alright, so here you go. Like I say, it is not in the most beautiful shape. It is dirty and got some scuffs. It's taped up, but man, I don't care. It's just so cool, and I got a pretty good deal on it. But like I say, all this here, Nintendo Control Deck, and, all this stuff, it says nothing about video games. Game packs. So you can see there. And then going around on top, I'll have to try and clean this up real carefully. They called it the deluxe set. And on the side here, it tells you all about the games they have. It tells you about R.O.B, Robot Series. And then on the back is some more pictures and information about the system. It tells you about the Zapper, the games it comes with. There's a picture of a family playing Duck Hunt with R.O.B there. So pretty cool. I love Nintendo. Their game boxes are very cool looking, very detailed. Like I love them. Let's say I'm gonna try and remove that sticker off of there because it's kind of an eyesore. But all right, let's get this thing opened up and see what we've got. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and lay it down here. Now, this only has the R.O.B and the R.O.B accessories. This doesn't have the zapper, the console, any of that with it. But I already have all of that. So I can throw all that in here and have it complete, which is pretty nice. Let's go ahead here. Yeah, the box is kind of beat up, but like I say, it's, you know, typical. Pretty old. Oh, and it does have both of the styrofoam pieces. I was wondering. Looked like it may have been missing the top. And how to get it out here. Be careful with that. I'll wiggle it. Maybe I need to get in this end and push it out. And it does not want to come out of here. There it goes. Alright. R.O.B does not want to come out. I'll carefully set the box here. Say carefully as I drop it onto the floor. Okay. I'll take off the top. And here he is. R.O.B here. I'll go ahead and pull this all out and set it up. And it's my first time ever seeing, touching anything to do with the R.O.B. It's got some good weight to him. So he's all plastic. Seems to be in pretty good shape. Now I was confused as well. I think this comes off. I don't know if you can see. Oh, he doesn't. You can't see his eyes. Well, from what I was reading is that's just a little overlay piece. So if you had a TV, a brighter TV or something, you could put this little what do you call it, like shield or whatever, and so it wouldn't be so bright. So we have this here. This is you put a battery in it. So I'm gonna have to go through. This is untested, so I'm gonna have to go through and test everything and hope that everything works. But even if it doesn't, you know, I'll still be happy with it. So this here, you put a battery in it and it spins. Spins these gyros. Man, these are heavy. So these are the gyros that are used for gyromite. So R.O.B, and I've got to order, I think I'm missing the claws too. He's got 2 little claws, and I've already found a set, and I just got to order them. But this goes in here. R.O.B drops the gyro in here, and it spins that up. So then R.O.B picks it up while it's spinning, and he moves it over and sets it on one of these. You set the Nintendo game controller in here. So he'll take the spinner, move it over here, and he drops it on one of these. And it'll, you know, it's spinning really fast, so it'll keep spinning. So when he does that, it presses one of the buttons on the controller, which makes so the game Gyromite is you going through this little guy, I forget what his name is, Dr. something, but anyways, there's this little guy, and you know you're controlling him as well, and so you got to go through, and then there's little like beams that are in the way. So that's when, you know, you go to R.O.B, and the way he works is his eyes show, you know, there's sensors, and the screen will show flashes, and depending on what flashes, it tells him what he needs to do, which way he needs to move, which button to press. So you wait for him to do his thing, and then, you know, once the button is pressed, that little pillar will move up so that you can advance. So, kind of cool. So not too crazy exciting, but, you know, they thought at the time it would be pretty cool. I think it's pretty cool. Oh, this one is come unglued here. So they've got, well, that's kind of cool. I can see inside of it. It's got like a big washer inside of it that gives it the weight. So these set here. Yep, that clicks in there. Gyro set over here. Of course, his body needs to be up. And what happens? I think this one goes here. I have no idea because I've only ever seen pictures of these things. And then this goes back here. So that's how he's set up. Get you a close-up. Alright, so here he is. Let's say I'm going to try and have to get that out of there because he looks way cooler with his, when you can see his eyes. But yeah, so this is how he sets up. I'm going to say this whole thing moves up and down on these tracks here. And completely moves sideways. So he can move from here all the way over to here. He can move, you know, that radius. So, pretty neat. But yeah, these are the gyros. So they go in this thing here and it spins them up real fast, and then he's able to pick them up, set them on there. So the reason, you know, you have them spinning is so they'll sit and spin there and, you know, keep that weighted down. And then of course when they stop spinning they fall off. You set them back over here. But and then let's say his arms here move in and out. Say I've got to order the claws that go on here that grab those. But and then like I say, the controller goes in here. As you can see, there's little buttons there, so when I push one of those down, it sticks out and we'll press that button or hold it down, whatever. So very cool. I can't believe I finally have a R.O.B. So I got to the point, you know, I want, you know, like my Power Glove video, I've kind of said the same thing. I can't believe I finally own one. I just kind of got to the point where it's like, you know, I've wanted one for so long, and I've got some extra money set aside, like, just pull the trigger and do it. And I'm glad I did, because this is just too cool. In the back of him here, it's in really good shape. And an on-off switch on him, and then there's an on-off switch on this guy as well, because this is a separate unit. It just takes the batteries on the bottom, as well as R.O.B does too. Pull this back off. As you can see, well, he appears to have some batteries in him. I'm sure they're dead, but just for kicks, yeah, they're dead. So I'll have to get some batteries in him and see what he does. Okay, so there were batteries in him, and they were pretty corroded, which doesn't surprise me because this one is from, it'll focus, July 1992. So that's pretty wild that may be the last time, around the last time that R.O.B was played with or turned on. That was 4 years before I was born. But I did get some batteries in him, and see what happens when we turn them on. Oh, I did have him starting to move. There he goes. As you can hear, he is very noisy. Oh, so he went up there. That's probably all he's gonna do until he's instructed to do more. Can't tell if doesn't look like it. That light's working, but I got him to do something anyway. So that's a start. So that's good. I'll have to work on, there still is some corrosion on there on the battery terminals. I'll have to work on cleaning up. I'll maybe take them apart and do a good cleaning on them. But hey, that's exciting. What I'm trying to do now is get this little overlay out of here so we can see his eyes. Might be like taped on there or something. Don't want to tear it up. It's got some double-sided tape. Let's see. It's starting to come. Well, let me mess with this for a second. So I got it off there and I was right. There was a piece of like double-sided tape in the center of it. But here's the unveiling. And there he is. His cute little eyes. So, pretty cool. I think he looks way better without his little, we'll call it his sunglasses. His little sunglass shade. So, very cool. I'll have to break out my console and see if he'll play Gyromite. Since I do have, he didn't come with it, but I do have a copy of it that I've bought at I think a Disc Traders a while back for if and when I ever did get one. So he'll be ready to go.
Will you be the one to witness the birth of the incredible Nintendo Entertainment System? The one to play with R.O.B, the extraordinary video robot, batteries not included. He helps you tackle even the toughest challenge. Will you be the first to raise the incredibly accurate Zapper and play games like Duck Hunt or action-packed Hogan's Alley and high-flying Kung Fu, each sold separately? Will you be the one to experience the Nintendo Entertainment System? Comes with R.O.B, Zapper, Control Deck, 2 controllers, Gyromite, and Duck Hunt.
That's going to be it for this one, guys. Let me know what you think of R.O.B here. And I'd love to hear some stories if any of you are older viewers that maybe have owned one of these or maybe bought one when they came out. I'd love to hear your stories in the comments. But let's say, let me know what you think. Like it if you enjoyed it. And of course, don't forget to subscribe. And have a good one. So before anyone wants to yell at me in the comments and say that I had this set up wrong the whole video, I totally just noticed that I did. I had this over here, and I had these on the opposite sides, and I just looked at the box, and I'm like, oh, that was completely wrong. So there you go. Have a good one.